So our first website that we're going to talk about is ThinkPort, and this is a really good website for teachers to keep in contact with other teachers as well as parents and students. So there's really a few main parts of this website, and one of them is the idea box. And this is where your personal lessons are stored. So you can make your own lessons on Lesson Builder, which is another part of this website. And for that, you get to make your own lesson plans, like tailored to the class that you have and the students that you have. And then all of those are stored in my idea box. And you can like make different folders in that. So it's very helpful to stay organized. And then the other part is my calendar, which is really helpful because you are allowed to like enter appointments, put reminders and contact info on that. And then parents can set up accounts on ThinkPort and students can, so they can all access your calendar as you make it public. And then there's a project builder, which allows you to build project-based learning, which is very big in the educational world right now. And then there's my website, which is just like a teacher website that you make. And parents and students, again, can go onto this and see like what you're doing and everything. And then there's a member director, which allows you to share your lessons and to keep in contact with other members of this website. And now I'm going to show you a few things on this ThinkPort screen. So this is what it looks like when you see, and you can register and make an account, and you just have to put on all this information. And then the role part is where you can pick if you're a parent or a teacher or an administrator, and then you can pick your school district, which will be all over here in your grade level. So then everyone can stay in contact when they're on this website. And then as a teacher, if you have this website, it also allows you to get to these interactive media things, which is really helpful and like helps you build more technology-based lessons. So like if you go to one, for example, Bayville, it'll bring you to a different page, and then it's kind of like an interactive lesson that you can do with your students. See, if you click it and it makes noise and everything. So that's really interesting. And then they have parts for K through 12, and they have early childhood parts, and they have parts for the family and community. So even if you're not a teacher, but you sign up as a parent, you still have a lot of things that you can do. And this is very helpful because it keeps everyone in the school district and parents and teachers connected. So that's like a really big part of it, and it's like super helpful. And again, it's another place where you can find lessons, you can make your own lessons, or you can find lessons that other people made and change them to tailor them to your class, but still use the basis of their lesson. So that's basically the gist of ThinkPort.
I like that it has a calendar that can be added for the appointments, the reminders, the contact information. It's all in one place for the teacher, which makes it really easy since they're busy as it is, and they don't have to go to different spots to find what they're looking for. So that's definitely really nice.
Yeah, and what's even nicer about the calendar is that you don't have to be on a specific computer to access it. You can access it from any computer as long as you have Wi-Fi.
Another thing, I think that this would be great for new teachers. As a future teacher, I think it'd be great to be able to share lessons with teachers who have more experience in the field. And with this, I think that I could share lessons with other teachers in my grade, or even teachers maybe from different schools and all around the world, and that would be very helpful. Okay, so the next website that we are talking about is Clickers. Clickers is a rapid response classroom polling tool that uses paper cards rather than mobile devices for student responses. To conduct a poll, a teacher creates a question and projects it on the screen. The students can hold up their cards and they each have their own individual card, and they turn the card either to A, B, or C with a different picture on the front, and that's how they would, and the teacher uses any type of device to scan all of the codes, and that's how the responses would automatically go in. With this, each student could have their own individual card, and that's how teachers could keep track of how students are doing. Clickers can be a valuable polling tool for teachers with limited tech in the classroom. They're, um, Make sure, as long as students have their own assigned card, it'd be really easy to keep track of. Overall, Clickers addresses the critical need for teachers to rapidly get a sense of students' progress and adjust accordingly. It's it's really useful and engaging for teachers to use.
I really like that it is so fast, like the way you explained it, because I feel like a lot of students have a hard time where it's like they learn about something that's like, okay, guys, like take out a pencil, take out a paper, like let me ask you some questions. I think that a lot of students would benefit from, okay, guys, take out your clicker cards, here are the questions, hold up your card. So I really like the like speediness of it, and it kind of like a lot of time there's like transitional periods between things like take out your pencil and paper and students get distracted, and then it's less instructional time, and I think flickers add for more instructional time, which is really really good.
Um, I liked that because they're different cards, it's great for the classroom because you can't look at your neighbor and see what they're saying for their answer because it's two different cards. So if they're holding up, B as their answer, you have to like think about which way is your B. You know what I mean? You can't just look at their direction of their card. So that's really nice because it makes that student think about it for themselves of which way and which answer. So for the next one, I did New Zealand. This is a website that contains different articles. They have war, peace, science, kids, money, law, health, arts, and sports. Each article is put at a different Lexar level for the students, depending on if it's easier for them or harder for them to read. And each Lexar level has its own test corresponded with it. The teacher has the ability to add articles to the each student's binder where it's just easy to find, as well as the teacher has the ability to see the results from the students. On it, at the very top on the right, that's where you'll find the toolbar for the different articles. It has text sets, where you can read your own text sets. You can find it for different articles and any stories that you like. You can find featured text sets for literature, social studies, and states. In the binder is where you find all the articles that you want for the students to have specifically. You have the classes where you are split up into each section, and then it's for each one English or Spanish, which is nice. And then it shows you the class average and the class Lexar level average. And then for each student, it shows the progress of them. It's split up into 3. Level 1 is the students need help. Level 2 is they're nearly on track. And then level 3 and 4 together are the students on track. And then the top left is the search bar for you if you want to search for an article yourself. And then to sign up, you have 2 options. You can enter your zip code and you can find your school for a teacher, or which is how I did it, you can say you're a homeschool teacher, but it still has the same features. And you just need your name and zip code and your email.
I think that it'd be great for teachers to be able to just have articles that they can put directly into the students' folders online, because this would be great for, one, saving time. The teacher doesn't have to worry about printing out multiple copies of different articles and putting them in different students' folders. They would just be able to tell the students there's a new article in your folder, make sure you check this, and not have to worry about printing them out, putting them in, maybe a student possibly losing them. They always would have access to it, and the teacher wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think what would be most helpful about this in my placement in particular is that you can give the students the different Lexar levels. because I know in my placement we have some students who, I'm in a first grade classroom, and we have some students who are reading at like preschool level and then some that are reading at like a third grade level. So it's kind of hard to differentiate instruction when they're such like different readers. So it's nice that they could be reading about the same thing just at different levels. So if the teacher, like if my mentor teacher wanted to give them a book about, I mean, an article about apples, they would all read the same article, but just the kid reading at a third grade level would read it at a third grade level, and the kid reading at a first grade level would read it at a first grade level, but they would still get the main idea, so they could still like talk about it as a whole class, which I think would be super helpful in my placement.
And for the Lexar levels, the students can take as many tests as they want for the Lexars. So in my placement, what happened was a student specifically took the lowest Lexar level and failed it, and then he went up to each Lexar level until he eventually had to take to the top Lexar level, and at the top Lexar level, he got 100%. So it doesn't matter where the student is at, they can take and read each Lexar level and test, and to show they can get better no matter how hard or easy it is, which is nice.
Yeah, I think my students really like that because they're, as I said, in first grade, so they're really all into like competitions and like, look at how good I did on this, and that would be a nice way, I think, for them to compete with themselves rather than with other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so then the last website that I did today was the UDL Book Builder, and what that is it's this CAST website, and the main part of this website is that you can either create your own books or read books that other people have created. So this website gives teachers the ability, or anyone who really logs onto it, to create their own book. So if a teacher's doing a lesson on apples and she can't really find a book that she particularly likes about apples, she could create it herself and then upload it and either share it directly with another teacher or in the public library. And then another thing you can do with it is you can take a book that was already written and kind of summarize it or change it a little bit, as long as you still give the original author credit for it. So say that you wanted to take a book like The One and Only Ivan, as long as you told them that you were the new author and that Catherine Applegate was the old author, you could take it and then just summarize what happened. And I will show you an example of that right now. So on the UDL Book Builder, if you go to the public library part, and then you go to Bud Not Buddy Chapter 1, and you hit Read, it brings up the book picture, and then if you just go to the next slide, it brings up a summary of what happened in the book. And if you click on this, right down here, you click on the Chapter 1, it says the author is Kelly Wyatt, but the original author is Christopher Paul Curtis. And then another really cool thing about this website is that a lot of the books are in Spanish and English, so it's really good for those ELL learners. And then you can create books in any language that you want as long as you speak them properly and know everything. And you can add pictures to your books. And it's really nice that you get to share it with other people. Like you have a part on here where it's like your library, and you can go there and other teachers can share books to you directly there, and it like is really, really helpful if you need to find a book that you can't find.
I definitely like that you can have the students listen to it instead of read it. For the struggling readers who may be slower or cannot read at the level they should be, especially in my placement, I'm in 6th grade and I have a student who does not know his pre-KK sight words. So this would be especially nice for him to be able to sit there and listen to it and comprehend it instead of worrying about what it says.
Yeah, and what's really nice about that is that it doesn't play the whole book, it plays each page. So let me show you right now. So if you go back to where we were before with the Bud Not Buddy one, and then you hit read again, and then we go to the first page, and then you hit the play button and it only plays the first page. So if your reader that's not at the first grade level doesn't understand it, he can go back and just play this first page again without having to play the whole book a million times when he really only needs help with one word.
That's nice.
It's also, I think it'd be great for teachers to be able to make their own books if they need it, because it allows for the teachers to individualize what they might need for their classroom rather than what is usually needed. So if a teacher like Virginia said, if a teacher needed a book specifically about apples and she needed certain parts in this book, the teacher could make a book that needed those that included those certain parts, and that would be really great for teachers. So the last tool that we are talking about today is TouchCast. TouchCast allows you to make videos and look at different videos that are added to the website. It's very simple. All you have to do is choose a template and press record, and you can start making your own video. You can share different videos with people or with students, and they can think beyond their traditional essays, research papers, posters, slideshows. They can make their own video rather than writing a paper. There's also a green screen feature that allows for students to have a green screen behind them, and they can record themselves, and then they can place something different in the background. For example, if the students were doing a presentation about France and they wanted to have the Eiffel Tower in the background as they were talking, so to give it more of a French feeling. And this can be used by teachers in every content area. Students can make things for social studies, they can make things for math and science, or they can even look at videos for different things. And teachers can make videos for their students so that they can have different ways of seeing their content.
I like that you can record. It'll be really nice for the classroom if, say, you're going to be absent and you know this. You can have a lesson already prepared, and all your teacher has to do is play your lesson for them to learn. And they're more just there to make sure the students behave than teach your lesson yourself or themselves. So that's definitely really cool to do.
It could also be used for if a student was sick, if the teacher already had this lesson already recorded, or she can send it to the student that she knows is not well, and they can watch it from home and stay with their coursework while recovering from injuries or sickness.
I also really like with the whole recording yourself thing. I think I'm going to take it in a different direction. Not that your ideas are not good, because that would be really helpful, I think. But I think it would also be nice if you kind of gave this gives the students an opportunity to record themselves. Because now with modern technology, it's a lot easier to do that kind of stuff. And say that students were learning about ancient Egypt, then it might be really interesting if the teacher was like, okay guys, we're going to pretend that we're in ancient Egypt and do a newscast as if you're in ancient Egypt. And I think that would really open a lot of the students' minds, and I think they'd really enjoy recording themselves and then showing that video to another class, to the parents. They're like, Mom, look, this is my video of my class in ancient Egypt. We learned about all of these facts, and then instead of writing paper, we made a recording and we made a movie. And I just think it'd be a really good way to keep kids interested and to incorporate drama into all of your subject areas.